Welcome back to the Malaysian Money Matters show, everybody. It's 37th Feb 25, and we're ready for a deep dive into all the latest news.
All the news that matters.
Exactly, the Malaysian company news, and then all the updates on the international and political scene. We'll break down what's important and how it might affect you.
Sounds like a busy one today.
It is. Let's jump right in. We'll start with Gamuda. They're making a big splash, it seems, in the water infrastructure world.
Yeah, the Sungai Perak raw water transfer scheme could be huge for them.
Huge.
A massive project, RM4 billion added to their order book.
Wow.
And it really positions them as a leader in addressing those water shortage issues that Malaysia is facing.
It's such an important project for that whole region.
It really is.
And analysts seem to agree. CIMB, Securities, RHB Research, they've both issued buy calls and target prices above RM4.
Yeah, they're bullish on Gamuda for sure. And I think if this project is successful and becomes a model for other regions, it could really solidify their dominance in this sector.
It really could. Okay, let's move from Gamuda to a newcomer making waves, Northern Solar Holdings. They just listed on the ACE market, and they're already seeing a surge in their stock price.
43% jump from the IPO price?
That's incredible.
That's a great start. And what's really exciting is their focus on rooftop solar installations in Southeast Asia.
Smart.
High margin, and it's a region with booming energy demand, so they're well positioned.
Yeah, and they've got a pretty impressive order book over RM 83 million with a tender book of RM 1.8 billion.
Yeah, those are some serious numbers. And get this, they actually expect their profit margins to grow because of China's efforts to reduce solar module overcapacity.
Now, that sounds counterintuitive. Why would that be a good thing for them?
Well, for a while now, China's overcapacity has been driving down global solar panel prices.
Oh, I see.
So by reducing this overcapacity, China's essentially stabilizing those prices, which helps companies like Northern Solar maintain and even increase their profit margins.
Wow, so it's like a global market forces thing, creating this unexpected opportunity.
Exactly.
It'll be interesting to see if they can keep this momentum going, though.
Yeah, navigating that competitive Southeast Asian market is no easy feat, but they're off to a good start.
All right, well, let's move on. From solar power, let's look at the fintech world. Bank Islam is making a move into the digital space with their new joint venture, Finidin.
This is a big step for them. They're recognizing the growing demand for those Sharia-compliant fintech products and services.
Okay.
And this move allows them to develop and sell a whole range of solutions.
Solutions like
banking platforms, consulting support services.
I see.
All within that framework of Islamic finance.
And they're focusing on a business-to-business model, right? So they're not going directly after individual consumers.
That's right. They're targeting businesses that need those Sharia-compliant financial solutions, and it plays into that whole banking-as-a-service trend that's gaining traction. They're providing the infrastructure for companies to offer those financial products without having to build everything from scratch themselves.
So they're becoming the backbone for other Sharia-compliant fintech businesses.
Exactly. And I think that could give them a real edge in that market.
Smart. All right, let's talk manufacturing now. We're seeing a mixed bag of news here. Notion VTech is making a significant investment. They're acquiring land for a new manufacturing facility in Klang.
Yeah, RM 29.6 million investment. It's a big commitment to expansion,
Definitely.
long-term growth. Makes you wonder what they're planning.
Right. What are they targeting?
New product lines, maybe new markets. This move could be a real indicator of where they're headed strategically.
It's a sign of confidence, for sure. On the other hand, Latte Chemical Titan, they're facing some headwinds. They've reported their biggest quarterly loss since they listed back in 2017.
Oof. Yeah, and that's largely due to a big impairment charge over RM 940 million.
Wow.
And they're also facing challenges globally. Geopolitical uncertainty, oversupply in China, and those fluctuating oil prices are all hitting their bottom line pretty hard.
Yeah, their CEO has been emphasizing operational stability and efficient cost management as their priorities for this year.
It sounds like they're battening down the hatches.
Yeah, trying to weather the storm. But the question is, what strategic shifts are they going to need to actually make to navigate these challenges and make their way back to profitability?
Yeah, that's what we'll be watching for.
All right, let's do some quick company updates. Bina Puri Holdings, they've managed to dodge a winding up petition from Exim Bank.
That's a sigh of relief for them, but I think it highlights how important it is to manage that foreign currency risk.
Right.
They ran into trouble with their U.S. dollar loan because of the currency appreciating and those rising interest rates.
It's a cautionary tale, I think.
It is for sure, especially with the global economy being as volatile as it is.
Okay, what else is going on?
Panda Mastercore, they're simplifying their structure. They're delisting their Hong Kong unit.
I see. So they've reached an agreement with a partner to buy up the remaining shares.
That's right. And they're giving a special dividend to those minority shareholders.
Seems like a pretty strategic move.
Yeah, it definitely streamlines things for them. But it'll be interesting to see how it plays out long term, how it affects their financials and operations.
Okay, and lastly, we have MN Holdings.
They've decided to end their MOU with Intelligent Pi Consulting.
For those operational technology cybersecurity projects.
Right. They said it was because of a slow flow of tenders and no secured contracts.
I see.
So it makes you wonder about the cybersecurity market as a whole.
Right. Is this a sign of a broader slowdown, or is it just specific to the areas they were targeting?
Yeah, definitely something to keep an eye on.
It is. It's a good reminder that even in a sector that we think of as being, booming like cybersecurity, there can still be those ups and downs.
Absolutely. Okay, so are we ready to shift gears?
Yeah, let's move on to the international and political scene. There's some interesting stuff happening there, too.
Mm.
Okay, let's kick things off with DeepSeek, the Chinese AI startup. They've been making headlines lately. They had to temporarily suspend their API service top-ups because of server issues.
Oh, wow.
High demand, too much success.
Yeah, it's kind of a classic case of, being a victim of your own success, I guess. Their cost-efficient AI models have shaken up the market.
They really have.
But it seems like their infrastructure wasn't quite prepared for that huge response.
And that's making some of the big players nervous.
Oh, absolutely. Google, Microsoft, Meta, they're all feeling the pressure now.
So what does this mean for the AI landscape going forward?
Well, it's definitely put a spotlight on the cost of developing and using AI. I think DeepSeek's success has forced these tech giants to rethink their pricing and really step up their own AI development.
It's like an AI arms race.
It is. It's an arms race, but it's good news for businesses and consumers, ultimately.
How so?
More affordable AI solutions, more accessible.
That's a good point. But will DeepSeek be able to bounce back from this?
That's the question. Can they fix those server issues quickly, or will this give Western AI companies a chance to catch up?
It's definitely a story we'll be following closely. Okay, let's talk about something a little more down to earth, President Trump's trade policies. He's imposed a 10% tariff on Chinese imports, and he's cracking down on that de minimis loophole. Can you explain what that is and how it might affect Malaysia?
Sure. So the de minimis rule basically let small, low-value packages from China enter the U.S. without any duty.
Okay.
It was meant to simplify trade, but the Trump administration sees it as a loophole that China's been taking advantage of. So they're tightening the rules.
And how does this all affect Malaysia?
Well, the Minister of Investment, Trade and Industry has said the impact on Malaysia's semiconductor exports should be minimal, at least for now.
That's good news.
It is. But Malaysian businesses can't just, sit back and relax.
So they need to be prepared for potential ripple effects.
Exactly. The global trade landscape is shifting. It's becoming more and more unpredictable. These U.S.-China trade tensions are going to have an impact on global supply chains. Malaysian businesses need to be ready to adapt.
So what can they do?
I think diversification is key. Explore new markets, strengthen existing partnerships, and stay informed about those changing trade policies.
Sounds like good advice.
Right.
Let's hop over to the UK. The Bank of England has surprised everyone by cutting interest rates.
Yeah, to a 19-month low, 4.5%.
Most central banks are raising rates. Why are they cutting them?
They're walking a tightrope. They're trying to boost economic growth, which has been pretty sluggish. But they also know that inflation is a risk.
So they're trying to find that balance between growth and inflation.
Exactly. And they've said that they only expect to make 2 more rate cuts.
Okay, so that puts the UK government in a bit of a tough spot.
It does. The economy's slowing down, and they're facing pressure to raise taxes to, fund public services.
It'll be interesting to see how this all plays out.
Yeah, it's a complicated situation, and it shows the challenges that central banks all over the world are facing right now, trying to juggle these competing priorities in a global economy that's facing a lot of headwinds.
Okay, let's shift gears and talk about IHH Healthcare. Their subsidiary is seeking a pretty hefty sum in compensation from Daiichi Sankyo, a Japanese drug maker.
Yeah, up to RM 5.7 billion.
Wow, what's going on there?
This goes back to IHH's acquisition of a stake in India's Fortis Healthcare back in 2018. They're claiming that Daiichi Sankyo blocked them from making an open offer to acquire more shares in Fortis.
So they're saying they lost out on a lot of potential profit.
Exactly. And they've got a consultant's report that estimates the potential compensation anywhere from RM 200 million to that whopping RM 5.7 billion.
It sounds like this case could have some big implications.
It could. It shows just how complex these cross-border acquisitions can be, especially in a sector like healthcare where there are a lot of regulations.
All right, well, while that legal battle unfolds, the AI battle is heating up. Google has launched some new More affordable AI models.
Yeah, looks like they're feeling the heat from DeepSeek.
Makes sense.
This new Gemini line they've got, including that flashlight model, it's all about competing on price and making AI more accessible to a wider range of businesses.
That's good news for businesses, right?
It is. Lower prices mean it's easier for them to adopt AI. And it's good for Google, too. They can expand their market share and stay ahead in that AI race.
So everyone wins. Speaking of staying ahead, Singapore pulled in US $10 billion in investments last year. What's their secret?
They've been really smart about focusing on those high-growth sectors, semiconductors, aerospace, AI.
Sure.
They're positioning themselves as a hub for those industries.
A hub for innovation.
Exactly, and it's attracting a lot of investment.
It's working. And it's not just international investors who are taking notice. Techstory's IPO here in Malaysia was hugely oversubscribed.
Almost 100 times oversubscribed by retail investors.
That's incredible.
It shows the confidence in that company and in the growth potential of IT services in Malaysia.
Really exciting.
Okay, and KLCCP, they're feeling pretty optimistic about the future thanks to that tourism rebound.
Yeah. Analysts are predicting strong earnings growth for them in 2025. They own the Surya KLCC Mall. And with Malaysia getting ready for its Asian chairmanship and Visit Malaysia 2026, they're expecting a big influx of tourists.
So it's good news for KLCCP and for the tourism industry as a whole.
Absolutely.
But there are some potential challenges, too.
Like what?
Those higher financing costs from the Surya KLCC acquisition could affect their earnings growth.
It's a reminder that there's always a balancing act, right, between investing for the future and managing your finances in the present.
Exactly. It'll be interesting to see how KLCCP navigates that.
All right. Okay, let's end on a positive note. CIMB is venturing into renewable energy.
Yeah, a potential floating solar project in Sabah.
Wow.
They signed an agreement with a Sabah state-owned firm to explore this large-scale project in Lahad Datu.
Really exciting.
It's a positive step towards sustainable energy solutions for the region, and it shows that Malaysia is committed to renewable energy.
And if this project is successful, it could be a win-win for everyone involved.
Absolutely. Zikan Sabah's renewable energy goals, the environment.
Great to see companies aligning their business goals with sustainability.
It is. And speaking of positive outcomes, BMI is predicting a bright future for Malaysia's durian exports to China.
Durian. Tell me more.
Malaysia recently got approval to export fresh durian to China, so they're ready to tap into that huge market.
I love it.
It's a great opportunity for durian producers to expand their reach and meet that growing global demand.
Fantastic. So from durian to tech to renewable energy, there's a lot to be excited about in the Malaysian market.
Here is. It shows the adaptability of Malaysian businesses and their entrepreneurial spirit.
Absolutely. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground today. From AI to durian to global trade. It's been a busy week in the markets.
It has.
What stood out to you the most?
I think the resilience of Malaysian companies really stood out to me. Despite all the global uncertainty, all the challenges, they're still finding ways to innovate and grow.
I agree. I mean, you look at Gamuda stepping up to address those water infrastructure needs, and Northern Solar making their mark in renewable energy, and Bank Islam diving into the fintech world with Finadin.
Yeah, they're not just reacting to change, they're shaping the future.
And it's not just the big players either. I mean, companies like Techstory, they're attracting serious investment. It shows real confidence in Malaysia's tech sector.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But we can't forget about those companies that are facing headwinds.
Right. Ladi Chemical Titan with their losses, and Binapuri Holdings close call with that winding up petition. It's a reminder that managing risk is just as important as seizing opportunities.
Absolutely. And that's where staying informed comes in. Keeping up with those global trends, understanding those market shifts, analyzing the impact of geopolitical events, that's all crucial for making those smart decisions.
So there's a lot to be optimistic about, but Malaysian companies can't afford to get complacent.
Exactly. The world is constantly changing. The companies that adapt and innovate, those are the ones that will thrive.
Well said. So from the rise of AI to those global trade dynamics, we've covered a lot of ground today. Any final thoughts for our listeners?
Stay informed, stay agile, stay open to those new possibilities. The world is changing fast, and the only constant is change. So embrace innovation, seize those opportunities, and manage those risks wisely. Malaysian businesses can not only survive, but they can really thrive in this global landscape.
Great advice. And on that note, it's time for us to wrap up this deep dive into the Malaysian and global markets. For me, the most exciting news today was a tie between Gamuda's big water infrastructure project and the continued success of Northern Solar. It's great to see Malaysian companies making such a big impact in sectors with huge growth potential.
Definitely inspiring.
What stood out to you? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe to the Malaysia Money Matters podcast for more insights and analysis. We'll be back soon with another deep dive into the news that matters most to you. Until then, stay informed and stay invested. Hey there, thanks for tuning in. If you would like a deeper dive into all the investment opportunities from today's news, subscribe to my newsletter at moneymatters.substack.com. I will be sharing a deeper analysis of the key investment opportunities from today's news, including what makes these opportunities stand out and how they fit into the broader market trends. By subscribing to the Malaysia Money Matters newsletter, you will also get exclusive insights on my watch list and portfolio and fundamental reports on Malaysian listed companies.